Headlines: Tension in Jos as community primary school demolished over land dispute. Gunmen attack Zamfara community, abduct over 50 women, girls. Farotimi gets bail in sum of 50 million naira. And on the foreign scene, Syrians rejoice as Assad family's 50-year rule ends. President flees to Moscow. Good evening and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you for joining us. The news in detail. Tension has gripped Jos, the Plateau State capital, following the demolition of a newly constructed primary school in the Filin Sokoa community of Jos North local government area on Sunday. Our correspondent reports that security personnel, including DSS and the police, have been deployed to the area to prevent any breakdown of law and order. Community members say the demolition occurred around 3 a.m. after the local security guard was tied up with ropes. This incident follows a long-standing disagreement between Filin Sokoa, Zinaria, Ring Road communities and certain individuals who claim ownership of the land on which the school was built on. An appeal filed in October this year was dismissed, rejecting the land ownership claim against the community. John Christopher, chairman of Jos North local government area, last week ordered the stoppage of the building, a decision the communities disagreed with. The local security guard, while recounting the incident, said he was suddenly attacked and tied up with ropes around midnight, adding that his attackers, who masked their faces, told him that they were there to demolish the community primary school. Reports say the disputed land houses a healthcare clinic and the primary school. And to security matters, gunmen suspected to be bandits have attacked Kakindawa village, a district in Gidandoga, Maradun local government area in Zamfara state. It was learned that the hoodlums abducted over 50 women and children. According to a community member, the gunmen stormed the village at about 1:30 a.m. on Sunday with sophisticated weapons and moved from house to house, abducting people. He appealed to the federal government and the Zamfara state government to deploy more security personnel to the axis to engage the terrorists. The state police command is yet to issue a statement on the incident. The Kebbi State Police Command says a combined team of police, army and vigilante have rescued 36 farmers that were kidnapped by bandits at Meirera and Benna Road in Danko, Wasago local government areas of the state. A statement by the command's public relations officer, SP Nafiu Abubakar, said the bandits in their large numbers barricaded Meirera and Benna Road in Danko, Wasago local government and kidnapped 36 farmers who were coming back from their respective farms in the area. It added that a combined team of the police, army and vigilante were mobilized to the scene and engaged the bandits in a gun duel and overpowered the bandits who escaped into the forest with gunshot wounds. The statement said the Commissioner of Police, Bello M. Sani, commended the bravery, resilience and professionalism of the security operatives and urged them to be more committed in making Kebbi State an unsafe haven for criminals. The CP equally charged the police and other security agencies operating in the area to intensify synergy among them with a view to decisively dealing with the bandits and other unscrupulous elements. More on security matters. The Taraba State Police Command said its operatives have rescued 3 abducted persons at Dutse Mobayu around the corner mountains of Jalingo, the state capital. The command spokesman, Abdullahi Usman, disclosed this in a statement on Monday in Jalingo, adding that the trio were kidnapped at Sibire village of Aridokola local government area on the 6th of December 2024. He said the team also recovered a magazine of AK-47 loaded with 35 rounds of live ammunition. The State Police Commissioner, Okachi Okwara, commended the efforts of officers and the vigilante for their collaborative efforts. He ordered the team to intensify efforts to arrest the fleeing kidnappers and urged the people of Taraba State not to panic as the command was on top of the situation. Also, as part of the ongoing Operation Golden Peace conducted by the Division on Operation Safe Haven to ensure a secure harvest and harmonious Yuletide in the Joint Operations Area, troops have conducted offensive operations into identified criminal hideouts in southern Kaduna, leading to the neutralization of notorious bandits and rescue of kidnapped victims. Media officer of the operation, Major Samson Zakum, while briefing journalists on Sunday, said security agencies conducted intelligence-based offensive operations at Ruwan Sanye, Randa, Rafingora, Libere Gari, and Libere Makaranta in Kauru local government area of Kaduna State.
(2024) as part of ongoing Operation Golden Peace conducted by 3 Division and Operation Safe Haven to ensure a secured harvest and harmonious Yuletide in the joint operation area, troops conducted an offensive operations into identified criminal hideouts in southern Kaduna, leading to the neutralization of notorious bandits and rescue of kidnapped victims. On 4th of December 2024, security agencies conducted intelligence-based offensive operations at Ruwan Senyi, Randa, Rafingora, Libere Gari, and Libere Makaranta in Kauru local government area of Kaduna State. Security forces made contact with bandits who were holding some abducted victims in their hideout at Randa. The superior firepower of the security agency forced the criminals to abandon the victims and flee. 3 of the criminals were neutralized during the exchange of fire. In the process, 25 kidnapped victims were rescued from the criminals' hideout. Security agency exploited the general area from the criminal hideout. Security agency exploited the general area and recovered several hard drugs.
In other news, human rights lawyer Dele Farotimi has been granted bail by the Ekiti State High Court. The court granted Farotimi bail in the sum of 50 million naira with a surety of like sum. The court ruled that the surety must possess a landed property and adjourned the matter to January 29, 2025 for further proceedings. Farotimi was taken to court by Chief Afe Babalola, a senior advocate of Nigeria, after being arrested by operatives of the Ekiti State Police Command. Babalola, 95, accused Farotimi of defaming him in a book titled Nigeria and Its Criminal Justice System. The arrest sparked outrage across the country, prompting civil society organizations and the Nigerian Bar Association to call for the activist's release. Now, the body of benchers in Nigeria has dismissed the data on corruption used by the National Bureau of Statistics in rating the judiciary. The body described the data as unjust, unverified, and contentious and asked stakeholders of the judiciary sector to disregard it. The NBS had last month rated Nigeria's judiciary as one of the most corrupt institutions in the country, using data from various sources to arrive at its conclusion. But the body of benchers, through its chairman and legal luminary Adegboyega Awomolo, senior advocate of Nigeria, at a public function in Abuja on Monday, queried the findings and conclusions of the NBS. Nigerian youths have been charged to hold government more accountable and own the fight against corruption to restore the country's integrity for future generations. The legislature, anti-corruption agencies and organizations gave the charge on Monday at an event to mark the 2024 International Day Against Corruption organized by the House of Representatives Committee on Anti-Corruption and Focal Insights Management Services as a convener. The report.
To mark the 2024 International Anti-Corruption Day with the theme Uniting with Youth Against Corruption, Shaping Tomorrow's Integrity, the House of Representatives Committee on Anti-Corruption gathered young Nigerians, majorly core members, for an interactive section. The focus of the day was on strategies and the role of the youth in tackling the menace of corruption. All presentations by the representatives of the Independent Corruption Practices Commission (ICPC), Azuka Gukwa Code of Conduct Bureau (CBB), and a member of the House, Mari Ebikake, exposed the extent corruption has penetrated the fabrics of the nation and agreed that it will take collective efforts to tackle with youths championing the campaign.
To some of us, we don't even know what functions is there on the Code of Conduct Bureau. If you look at the Constitution, the 5th schedule, part 1 of the Constitution, there are 14 codes which are expected to be complied by all public officers. One of them is bribery and corruption. Second, abuse of office, filing of asset declaration. You know, all this, there are 14, and they are expected to be dealt with by the Code of Conduct Bureau.
I have mentioned what we do. What do you do in terms of enforcement? ICPC can receive your reports, as well as our sister agency, EFCC. You can send reports of corruption. Anywhere you see reports, you see corruption taking place, a bribe being given, being exchanged, somebody asking you whether in your tertiary institution, in NYSC, in your place of work, your place of primary assignment, be a whistleblower against corruption.
Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, represented by the Deputy House Minority Whip, George Ozodinobi, in a keynote address, expressed worry that corruption creates inequality in society and destroys trust in public institutions. He ever revealed that the House is working to amend the ICPC Act to further strengthen the corruption fight. Chairman of the committee, Kayode Akelu, while aligning with the Speaker, said the committee remains steadfast to fight against corruption.
Deepen collaboration with anti-corruption agencies to enhance capacity building and intelligence sharing. Engage the organized private sector to uphold ethical businesses practice, as their role is crucial in reducing illicit financial flow and promoting a transparent economy. This message is clear. Corruption affects all of us. The solution lies in the unified, sustained action. We must put our hands on deck to shape a society where integrity is non-negotiable, accountability is the norm.
The current House of Representatives has prioritized anti-corruption in its legislative agenda, reflecting our unwavering commitment to addressing this issue comprehensively. We are reviewing existing anti-corruption laws to strengthen enforcement mechanisms and close any legal loopholes enabling corruption practices.
The event afforded participants the opportunity to share individual and personal experiences in the fight against corruption from their spaces.
Moving on to the red chambers of the National Assembly, the Southeast Caucus in the Senate has joined other stakeholders in the polity to call for broader consultations on the tax reform bills currently pending consideration and possible passage by the National Assembly. Leader of the caucus, Senator Inaya Abaribe, made this known during a press briefing after a closed-door meeting with senators from the 5 southeastern states held in his office on Monday. Abaribe underpinned that the Southeast senators are not opposed to the bills but are advocating for extensive consultations with their constituents and key stakeholders before a final decision is made in both chambers of the National Assembly. He further highlighted the need to engage with constituents across the 15 senatorial districts in the Southeast Zone, as well as state governments and other critical stakeholders. while the presidency and the South-South caucus in the Senate have called for the bill's swift consideration. Other groups, such as the Nigerian Governors Forum, the Northern Senators Forum, and the Arewa Consultative Forum, have echoed the Southeast Caucus' demand for wider consultations. And to other stories. Members of the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, Benue State Chapter, have locked up the gates of the State High Court in Makurdi over the non-implementation of the new minimum wage. Reports say members of the union barricaded the gate and prevented entry into the premises. The action, according to the Assistant Secretary of the Union in the state, Jolie David, was a result of the non-implementation of the 75,000 naira new minimum wage to members. David said the union had on Friday issued notification of indefinite strike action over non-payment of the new minimum wage. The union, which claimed to be following the directive of the national body and that of the Nigeria Labour Congress to embark on indefinite strike action as of December 2nd, noted that the state chapter of the union had no option but to embark on strike from December 6. The union also in the state had addressed a letter to the state governor titled Notification of Indefinite Strike Action over Non-Implementation of the New Minimum Wage. While social media has revolutionized communication and created countless opportunities for individuals and businesses, it has also become a battleground for women and girls worldwide. A silent pandemic of online gender-based violence continues to escalate, transcending borders and leaving devastating impacts in its wake. The report.
As part of the global campaign marking the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, activist Jacinta Igbum, an Nguvu change leader, raises alarm over the intensifying crisis of online gender-based violence. Despite its growing prevalence, the issue remains grossly underreported and inadequately addressed.
The main reason why it is often overlooked compared to other forms of violence is because of our trivialization of this act. Because digitalization has made it easy for opinion sharing and ideologies or biases to be amplified, it's easy for us to not take note of these different forms of online gender-based violence as an actual act of gender-based violence.
Online gender-based violence is a universal issue, disproportionately affecting women and girls across all demographics. However, more women are finding the courage to speak up, sparking important conversations and driving the push for systematic change.
A lot of people have gone through it, and because you're not seeing the next person on the other side, that's why I think people are not talking about it, but it is happening. You're seeing a lot of social media dragging, trolling, they're trolling people. These things impact on the way people see themselves, impact on their mental health. People begin to even look down on themselves. And you will see people even committing or attempting to commit suicide because people will come on their DM and troll them, insult them, use bad words.
Now, saying all those words did not really get to me because they were not a true representation of my person. But for about a month, he would take my pictures from my wall and post it on his wall. And he will insult me, talk about my body parts. He would insult my child, call me a single mom, say all sorts of things, talk about my weight.
Beyond the emotional scars, online abuse leaves survivors grappling with profound psychological damage. The repercussions extend to their safety, well-being, and overall quality of life.
People also even begin to have like panic attacks. Maybe they are afraid of even going on social media because they don't know where the next troll is coming from. It impacts on productivity, impacts on people's ability to even interface with others. And it brings a lot of shame and guilt and blame. So it has a huge impact.
I couldn't explain to people that something that someone did online made me become almost depressed. It was something I could not explain because as at that time there was really no media, nothing, surrounding online gender-based violence.
The internet should be a tool for empowerment, not oppression. Together, we must work to end the scourge of online gender-based violence. Tanti Azal, Trust TV, Abuja.
And to development in business, the National Information Technology Development Agency has alerted Nigerians of a banking malware which targets users globally through sophisticated phishing campaigns. The advisory was released by NITDA's Computer Emergency Readiness and Response Team on Monday. According to the agency, the new version of the Grandero is a significant threat, using advanced techniques including screen overlay attacks and remote device control to steal sensitive information such as banking credentials and personal data. The malware, NITDA explained, is primarily distributed via phishing emails and fraudulent websites that deceive victims into downloading malicious software disguised as legitimate updates or documents. Once installed, the malware bypasses security controls, granting attackers unauthorized access to users' devices. While NITDA warned that the malware could lead to financial losses and identity theft, the agency also urged the public to exercise caution and adopt recommended security measures, such as avoiding links and attachments from unknown emails, downloading software only from trusted sources, and enabling multi-factor authentication and to secure online banking and financial accounts. Away from Nigeria, Senegal's President Bassirou Diomaye Faye has said he is making progress in a mediation mission with the junta-led Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger after the trio announced their departure from regional bloc ECOWAS. The three Sahel countries announced in January they were leaving the Economic Community of West African States, which they accused of being subservient to former colonial ruler France and failing to support them in their fight against violence. Their departure becomes effective 1 year after the announcement in January 2025, according to the bloc. The trio have formed the Alliance of Sahel States after severing ties with France and pivoting towards Russia. ECOWAS appointed Senegal's Faye as a facilitator in July to try to get them to remain in the bloc. Faye spoke ahead of an ECOWAS summit scheduled for Sunday, according to an official from the regional bloc. He also called for reform of the organization. Still on the foreign scene, Syrians flocked to the main square of the capital city, Damascus, on Monday to mark what many regard as a long-awaited new dawn after the fall of President Bashar al-Assad. Assad fled to Russia on Sunday after a lightning offensive spearheaded by Islamist rebels ousted him from power, opening a new chapter in Syria's history after 5 decades of rule by his clan. The end of Assad's rule follows a 14-year civil war sparked by a brutal crackdown on democracy protests. The war killed more than 500,000 people and forced half of the population to flee their homes, many millions of them abroad. Assad relied on his alliances with Russia and Iran to remain at the helm despite the mass protests and armed rebellion. But on November 27, a coalition of rebels led by the Islamist Hayat Tahrir al-Sham launched an offensive that tore through the country, wresting control of city after city until they reached Damascus on Sunday. In a matter of days, the grip of the army and security forces collapsed and rebels moved into the main cities of Aleppo, Hama, Dara, and Homs before entering the capital city, bringing about an end to decades of Ba'ath Party rule. And finally, in sports news, Moses Simon has reacted to his stunning strike in Nantes' 1-0 home win against Stade Rennes on Sunday. The Nigeria international's decisive goal came 1 minute from time. Simon received the ball on the left wing, dribbled past two markers inside the box, cut to his right and unleashed a superb curler into the far top corner. The 28-year-old stated that he has scored similar goal in the past. And that's about it on the news update on Trust TV. Do not forget, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs and documentaries. I am Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for watching.